everyone, Gaara here. Welcome to the second episode of Best Designed Hearthstone Cards. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The card I want to talk about in this episode is Harrison Jones. This is one of my all-time most favorite cards in Hearthstone. It exists since the beginning. It is a 5/4 for 5 mana, so slightly below average, and this is what makes the card awesome because it is not too understated, so just putting it in your deck doesn't punish you too hard. It's not as bad as the Skulking Geist, for example. If you put the Skulking Geist in your deck right now, it punishes your own deck building. For example, if you would put it in a Control Warrior is notoriously super bad versus Jade Druid. You can't play Shield Slams or Whirlwinds, and you basically want to play those cards in your Control Warrior. So very counter synergetic, very slow, and even worse started. Harrison Jones is a very well started card. It is a legendary. This is what makes this card like super awesome. You can play it in Kazakus decks, Reno decks. You can't put 2 copies of this card in your deck, which is great as well. The effect is super unique. What I like the most about this card is that both players can have some sort of counterplay with this card. During certain metas, Harrison Jones was a very popular card, especially when Patron Warrior was dominating, because during that time the Warrior had access to Deathbite, and Deathbite was a card you could just Harrison in curve, and the Warrior was usually saving up the second charge, and you could just, use this on curve and just get great value out of it. Harrison Jones is a great tech card to read the meta. It has great counterplay from both players. The player that has the weapon can choose to not equip the weapon because he has a read that the opponent might be holding Harrison Jones. What you can do is, if you have a weapon with 2 charges, the opponent doesn't have a minion, you can equip the weapon, attack with the first charge, so your opponent gets less value out of the Harrison Jones in case he has the Harrison Jones. So there's a lot of interaction between both players, and Harrison Jones in a perfect spot can win you the game. If your opponent is a warrior and he has the Vorax, you choose to hold the Harrison Jones, and Harrison Gorehowl instead, it might be game winning. The decision to be more greedy with the Harrison Jones and not just get immediate value can turn out to be a great idea and a great strategical decision to win the game. Or when you play against a Paladin, he has the Rallying Blade, he has the True Silver Champion, but at some point the Tyrion will come down, and then you get the maximum value out of a Harrison Jones. Or now with the Medivh, it is a great counter-attack card. The opponent plays a very greedy troll deck, you're running out of resources, and your chance of coming back is if he plays the Medivh, doesn't play around the Harrison, and then bam, you draw 3 cards out of the Harrison Jones. So the card has great potential for great punish, but both players can play around this because usually the weapon classes have multiple weapons, and what you can do is basically play your cheaper weapons. Your opponent is not using the Harrison Jones, he's being greedy, then you just don't equip the big weapons before you have seen the Harrison Jones. There's so much counterplay from or interaction between both players when it comes down to Harrison Jones, and Harrison Jones really rewards people for reading a correct meta. If you expect a lot of weapon classes, then the Harrison Jones is an excellent tech card, but if there's not a lot of weapon classes, then Harrison Jones is just weak. It doesn't auto lose you the game, but it's certainly not a good tech if weapons are not dominating the game. What I really like again about this card is it keeps weapons in check. Weapons are the most powerful cards arguably in Hearthstone because they should be trading 1 for 2 at least. If you look at a Vorax, it's like a very classic example for a weapon just trading for 2 smaller minions. You trade your life resource and a card for taking out 2 minions. So weapons are very powerful cards in Hearthstone, and having a counter play card that gives you a card advantage against weapons is just fantastic. I absolutely love it. I want more cards like the Harrison Jones. Very well designed, very well balanced, well mana statted counter play cards. Unfortunately, we have not that many in the game, and nobody's really complaining about the overall power level of Harrison Jones. It has seen play in so many different decks over the past years, so it's an excellent card, super balanced card, and very powerful card, and it's just a super awesome card. That's it for the second episode of Best Designed Hearthstone Cards. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as always. I'll be back tomorrow with another video, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching and see you guys then. Peace!